The Hoax Twins. Introduction. Most of those involved in the creation-evolution conflict are aware of such outright frauds, and it's known in the scientific community, both of these were frauds, as the Piltdown Man of Sussex, England. From its discovery in 1912 by Charles Dawson until its factual public exposure in 1953 for 41 years. This fossil, this fraudulent fossil combination, fooled the best paleoanthropologist in the world. They thought it was genuine. There was only one exception to that, and we'll find out who he was. One exception publicly, at least as far as we know. Essentially, the entire secular paleoanthropology community accepted this fossil as an intermediate between ape and man. In fact, this influenced me in my early career. Over 500 doctoral dissertations were written on its technical place in the lineage of man, designated Eoanthropus dawsoni, after its discoverer, Charles Dawson. Eoanthropus dawsoni. 500 doctoral dissertations and degrees were awarded from major universities around the world, doctorates, for its technical placement in our lineage from ape to man. And for 41 years, it was the star. Now Lucy's the star, but she's fallen from the trees. One of the few scholars who saw through its fabrication early on was the Oxford scholar Ernest Talbert Bull Adams from, what town's he from? Glen Rose, Texas. Upon seeing the famous fossil firsthand, and he was such an esteemed scholar that he was able to see it firsthand, he wrote home to his wife Mabel that it was a fake. History later proved him to be correct. Now, how smart was Ernest Talbert Bull Adams? First of all, why was he called Bull Adams? That's not a very complimentary name for a scholar. Well, he was called Bull Adams because there was a carnival that came through town when he was a teenage boy, and his older brother was taunted by his friends. No, I'm sorry, his younger brother was taunted by his friends to get in the ring with a wrestler. Well, the wrestler took unfair advantage and beat the boy. The boy was quite strong, so he had to beat him. So he beat him unmercifully and pitched him through the ropes, and he had to be carried home. Well, the next day, his big brother went to town, and when the professional wrestlers started saying, $1 silver to anybody who can stay in the ring 2 rounds. Well, Bull Adams climbed into the ring. And what he did was pick the wrestler up and throw him over the ring. And the wrestler couldn't get up. So he got the silver dollar. That's pretty good, but he also proved the point. Then he went to Baylor College. It was Baylor College then. It's Baylor University now. Went to Baylor College or Baylor University. Played football. Of course he would play football. He is listed as the finest football player in the history of Baylor University, officially in their archives. Strapling, strong young man. Bull. In fact, he was so strong, they were playing the University of Texas, and this is in the historical records. They were playing the University of Texas, and the refs were calling things in favor of Texas U instead of Baylor. The crowd thought so anyway, and the players thought so. So all the team walked off the field after one of those calls by the refs. All the team walked off, that is, except Ernest Talbert Bull Adams. And he said, okay, I'll play the rest of the team if you'll guarantee they'll run straight at me. See, he was a middle linebacker. There was Bull Adams and playing the whole Texas University team by himself. They ran 3 downs and didn't make more than 5 yards in the whole 3 downs, the whole team against one man. So then his buddies decided we better go back on. So they went back on the team. Texas won, but at least that man was marked for life as a bull, and he was. But was he smart? He's the only man in history, as far as we know. Oh, by the way, he graduated from Oxford in 3 years. Only man in history, as far as we know, who memorized the entire book of logarithms. And someone said, Bull, why'd you memorize the whole book? He said, I just got tired of looking them up. Before the technique of speed reading became popular, Bull could read a novel just by turning the pages. And he enjoyed Western novels, and he read them just like that. So the question was asked this morning. He was an attorney, wasn't he? Oh, yes. He graduated in jurisprudence. And he practiced in the Metroplex in both Dallas and Fort Worth. He practiced for years in Glen Rose. He was a private attorney and the county attorney. But the evolutionary community had accepted Piltdown and other dubious artifacts as concrete evidence to the point that evolution has now become so entrenched as to require no real evidence at all. And that's quoting David Bassett. And that's absolutely true. Evolutionist and atheist Richard Dawkins famously announced, we don't need evidence for evolution. We know it to be true. We don't need any evidence. We know it to be true. And what an unscholarly statement.